Secrets of the Sumerian Civilization.
Like, share, follow, subscribe.
Imagine this, 6,000 years ago. No cars, no electricity, no internet. But in one corner of the world, in what is now southern Iraq, between the mighty Tigris and Euphrates rivers, humanity took its greatest leap forward. From mud huts to towering cities, from hunting and gathering to organized farming, from spoken legends to written history. This is the story of the Sumerians, the world's first civilization, the birthplace of the first cities, the first writing system, the first epic tales of heroes, the first laws, and yes, even the first beer. If you've ever wondered, where did everything begin? Then lean back and get comfortable. This video is about to take you on an unforgettable journey through time, full of epic adventures, gods, betrayal, love, death, and the desperate search for immortality. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Origins, cities rising from the mud. It all started with the rivers. Every year, the Tigris and Euphrates would flood, leaving behind rich, fertile soil. But these floods could also bring disaster. So the people learned to control them, digging canals and building dikes. From the Ubaid period around 6500 to 4000 BCE, small villages slowly grew. Simple houses, pottery and farming took root. Then came the explosive rise of Uruk. By 4000 BCE, Uruk had become the world's first true metropolis, surrounded by massive 6-kilometer walls and home to 40 to 80,000 people. Temple complexes soared into the sky. People must have looked up and asked, how is this even possible? The answer? Organization and groundbreaking innovation. It was here that one of the greatest inventions in human history was born: cuneiform writing. At first, merchants simply drew pictures on clay tablets to keep track of goods. Over time, it evolved into a full writing system with syllables and words. Thousands of these tablets have survived, recording trade deals, poems, laws, and stories. For the first time in history, humanity could write down its own story. Alongside Uruk stood other powerful city-states: Eridu, the oldest city, sacred to the god Enki; Ur, Lagash, and Nippur. Each had its own ruler, army, and patron god. But together, they shared one common culture: Sumer. Society, gods, and ziggurats. Life in the shadow of the gods. Sumerian society was strictly layered. At the very top were the king, called Lugal, and the high priests. The king was seen as the representative of the gods on earth, but he wasn't an absolute dictator. Councils of elders and public opinion still held real power. And then there were the ziggurats, the unmistakable symbol of Sumer. These massive stepped pyramids were artificial mountains, with temples at the very top where the gods were believed to live. Only the highest priests could enter these sacred spaces. The Sumerian gods were very human-like. They ate, drank, dressed up, and loved music. Priests fed and cared for them daily, because a happy god meant good harvests, and an angry god could bring floods or drought. The most important deities were An, the sky god; Enlil, the powerful storm god; Enki, the god of wisdom and water; and Inanna, also known as Ishtar, the fierce goddess of love and war. Daily life was tough but full of innovation. Farmers grew barley, wheat, and dates. Women brewed beer. The Sumerians loved it so much that beer rations were even recorded on official tablets. Surprisingly, women in early Sumer had significant rights. They could own property, run businesses, divorce, and even rise to high status as priestesses. One of the earliest known poets in history was a Sumerian princess and high priestess named Enheduanna. There were formal schools called Eduba, where boys, and occasionally girls, learned writing, mathematics, and astronomy. Their number system was based on 60, which is why we still have 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, and 360 degrees in a circle. They also invented or perfected the wheel, the plow, and sailing boats. Life was hard, but the Sumerians were incredibly creative, masters of irrigation, trade, and craftsmanship. The Epic of Gilgamesh: friendship, adventure, and the quest for immortality. Now we come to the real heart of the story, Sumer's greatest legacy, the Epic of Gilgamesh, the oldest written story in human history. Gilgamesh was the king of Uruk, a larger-than-life, semi-divine ruler. He was incredibly strong and handsome, but also a tyrant. He oppressed his people, taking young brides on their wedding night and forcing young men into hard labor. The gods said enough and created Enkidu, a wild, hairy, incredibly powerful man who lived among the animals in the wilderness. A temple priestess named Shamhat seduced Enkidu. For 6 days and 7 nights they were together, and when it was over, Enkidu had become civilized. He ate bread, drank beer, and put on clothes. Then he traveled to Uruk to confront Gilgamesh. They fought in an epic wrestling match. Neither could win. In the end, they became the closest of friends, inseparable brothers. Together, they set off on legendary adventures. They traveled to the cedar forest and slayed Humbaba, the terrifying giant guardian protected by the gods. Victorious, they returned to Uruk in glory. But their greatest challenge was yet to come. The goddess Inanna, Ishtar, fell in love with Gilgamesh and was rejected. Furious, she sent the Bull of Heaven to destroy him. Gilgamesh and Enkidu fought and killed the divine bull. The gods were enraged. They decided Enkidu must pay with his life. He fell gravely ill, had terrifying dreams of the underworld, a dark place where the dead eat dust and wear feathers, and eventually died. Gilgamesh was devastated. For the first time, he truly understood that he too would die one day. Refusing to accept his fate, he wandered the wilderness in grief, then set out on an epic quest for immortality. He faced scorpion monsters, crossed the garden of the gods, and met Siduri, the tavern keeper at the edge of the world. Finally, he found Utnapishtim, the Sumerian Noah, the only human granted eternal life after surviving the Great Flood. Utnapishtim told him about a magical plant at the bottom of the sea that could restore youth. Gilgamesh dove deep and retrieved it, but as he stopped to bathe, a serpent snatched the plant and slithered away. In that moment, the snake gained the ability to shed its skin and renew itself. Heartbroken and empty-handed, Gilgamesh returned to Uruk. As he gazed at the magnificent city walls he had built, he finally understood. True immortality isn't found in eternal life. It lives on in the works we leave behind. This epic is not just an adventure story. It's a profound tale about friendship, pride, grief, and what it truly means to be human. Rise, peak, and fall. The Sumerian city-states constantly competed and fought with one another, most famously shown in the stele of the vultures between Lagash and Umma. Then came Sargon of Akkad around 2334 BCE, who conquered them all and created the world's first empire. After him came the Gutians, followed by the glorious third dynasty of Ur III, between 2112 to 2004 BCE. Kings like Ur-Nammu and Shulgi brought law codes, massive building projects, and a golden age of prosperity. But dark clouds were gathering. Over-irrigation turned the fertile soil salty. Crop yields dropped dramatically. River courses shifted, and severe droughts struck, especially the 4.2 kilo-year event around 2200 BCE. Internal conflicts, invasions by the Elamites. It all came crashing down. In 2004 BCE, Ur fell. The great southern cities were abandoned. The population moved north. The Sumerian language gradually disappeared, but their incredible culture, writing system, and ideas lived on through the Akkadians, Babylonians, and beyond. Legacy. Although Sumer eventually faded, its legacy still shapes our world today. Our alphabet evolved from the idea of writing they pioneered. Our time system is based on their sexagesimal, base 60, mathematics. The roots of law codes, epic literature, and even many biblical stories, including the Great Flood, trace back to Sumer. Cities, writing, science, literature. Civilization as we know it began here. So the next time you check the time, read a story, or admire a great city, remember that the Sumerians are smiling down at us. If you enjoyed this journey through time, please hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. What other ancient civilization should I cover next? Or would you like a deeper dive into Gilgamesh? Take care of yourselves. History is alive, and you are part of it.
You can use this shortcut in the upper left corner to go to our previous video about the Mayan civilization.